Hello, my darlings. Welcome to part 2 of the mistakes that you can just leave behind in last year. Now we are about to cover the last 5 mistakes that got cut off in the last video thanks to my little sound malfunction. And I want to recap the others before we get into the new one. So, mistake number 1 was not knowing your colors. Mistake number 2 was having a bad attitude. That one was covered in depth on the podcast, so make sure that you see the description for the link to that. Mistake number 3 was shopping without a list. Now, mistake number 4 was where we lost the sound. So I want to recap that one in depth or go over it for the first time. Mistake number 4 was an unorganized closet. Let's put it this way. A disorganized space equals a disorganized brain. And the more that you try to accomplish with a disorganized brain, the more difficult it is to do. This includes getting dressed. So if your clothes are all just placed in there with no rhyme or reason, you're going to find it extremely difficult to quickly locate what you need and create a look that really speaks to the unique personality that you have. This is why it's so important to your closet, and there are a number of ways that we can do this. When you have all of your pieces organized by category, say you have all your tops together, all your skirts together, all your pants together, it makes it much faster and easier for your brain to make that split decision very quickly. You need a pair of pants, you know all the pants are right here. If there's one that you're looking for and it's not there, then you know it must be dirty. You know when you go to that section, if it's not there, it's not available and you can't wear it. Having things organized like this also allows you to implement a planning system, which I have a planning template that you can use to style 7 outfits in 10 minutes or less. And this is really where the money is when it comes to the mistakes, because having an organized closet means that you know what you've got and you know what you've got to work with. So when you are utilizing a planning system, you can easily create your outfits for a whole week at a time, which is what my planning system allows you to do. By the way, it's a totally free worksheet you can download and use to plan out your outfits for the week ahead. It allows you to make a decision on who you are intending to be. It allows you to put effort and be intentional in what it is that you want to wear. There's something to be said for getting dressed on the fly and dressing in the moment, as we tend to be emotional dressers. We tend to allow our emotions to dictate the way that we think and feel and the decisions that we make when we get dressed. We wake up, we feel kind of crappy, we put on the sweats. We wake up and we're feeling like we could run the world, the mini dress comes out. We allow ourselves to dress the way that we're feeling. And so it's important to know that because we are prone to do this, we should be proactive and dress the way that we want to feel. And therefore, when we get dressed on that morning, when it's Wednesday and it's kind of dreary and it's the middle of the week, we've had it up to here, we're done with the week already, we can be proactive and know that we have something in the closet that by noon we won't regret wearing. Trust me, I've done this so many times and not planned my outfits that when I did dress the way I felt that morning and said, screw it, by the time lunch rolled around, I was walking past mirrors, looking at myself going, what was I thinking? I didn't want to wear this today. Now I feel like crap. And then I spend the rest of the day worrying about how crappy I look when I know I had something awesome pulled out that I could have worn and I chose to wear this instead. I kick myself literally all day. So don't be like me or old me. Plan your outfits ahead of time with an organized space. And yes, this is a section that you want to organize into your closet. Video forthcoming on steps to organize your closet. So make sure that you're subscribed and you hit the little notification bell so you can get that video. Mistake number 5 was poor fit. Now, while this has nothing to do with being overweight or heavy or fat or whatever word you want to use, it also has everything to do with that simultaneously. So let me explain. The fit issue is more about buying for your body's geometry, your body's shape, and the way that the clothes interact with that. So if you have a very curvy body, by the way, curvy is not a size. If you have a curvy body and you are buying very straight clothes, you're going to have some issues because they're not going to fit your waist. It's going to obscure that, especially if you have what would be traditionally called an hourglass. I call it equally proportionate. And those body types, that defined waist is key to really highlighting your overall figure and creating a beautiful silhouette that makes you fall in love with yourself every time you walk past a mirror. And when you obscure that, it throws everything out of balance. And your brain is constantly looking at what it sees in the mirror and going, why do I look like this? I don't like this. And it's one of those red flags that something is wrong if you don't know what it is. That's probably what it is that your fit is not accentuating your natural assets. And that's all that dressing by body type or body shape or body geometry, as I like to use the term, is all about. It's about highlighting your natural assets and using them to make you feel even better about yourself. Because let's face it, you're amazing and you don't need anybody to tell you that. So the other piece of this is when our weight changes, it triggers this feeling that we must have to dress differently now, that we don't know how to dress ourselves anymore, and that we have problem areas. The only problem is the thought in our head that we have a problem. When you're born, you have a body shape, and that body shape is very difficult to change outside of major traumatic events like birth. Birth can shift your silhouette ever so slightly by widening hips, or if you're still in that first year postpartum and you're breastfeeding your baby, you can have an enlarged chest because milk, and that can make things a little difficult for you to understand your body because the normal shape you're used to is slightly altered. So those changes aside, or plastic surgery, of course, if you're getting a BBL or you've got breast implants or a reduction, like those are the major ways that you can alter your body shape. You cannot exercise yourself into a new body shape. That is not a thing. You are genetically pre-programmed, as it were, to have a body shape, and there's precious little you can do to change it, like I said, outside of surgery. So gaining weight or losing weight doesn't really affect what your shape is. And I have tracked this myself over the past 10 years. Being in theater, every time I'm in a show, they take our measurements. And for those of you who are following me on social media, you know that I'm currently in a play. And when they took measurements for this show, they were, of course, much larger than I'm used to having. I did just have a baby 5 months ago. I looked at the old numbers and I wrote them down. And then I did some quick math. And it turns out that the proportion is exactly the same within about a half an inch. So where there were 6 inches of difference between my bust and natural waist and hips, when I gained weight, that was like 5.5 inches difference between my bust and my waist, versus currently where that is about 5 3/4, I believe it was, difference between my chest, my bust, and my waist. Those numbers increase and decrease together. So you want to think of it as like a shifting spectrum. So while one goes up, number 2 doesn't stay. You know, if your chest gets larger, your hips and your waist will get larger with it, and they stay together in relatively the same proportions. So gaining weight does not alter your body shape. Once you know how to dress for that shape, you know how to dress for that shape. And don't get me wrong, there will be things that you might want to cover because they make you feel self-conscious, like arms. Arms are a big one. Your tummy. Tummies are also a big one. Don't be afraid to find ways that allow you to cover those areas and feel confident, because I'm not saying that when you gain weight that it doesn't matter anymore. I'm simply saying that when your body changes, it changes proportionately and predictably. The other thing I want to mention about improper fit for your size is keeping clothes that are not your size, or that are not your size within your closet. So if you have clothes in your closet and they are too big or too small, and they are not too big or too small on purpose, as in too big for the oversized effect, then you should definitely get rid of them. The exception being if you've just had a baby, you want to give that about a year, maybe a year and a half if you're breastfeeding the entire year, because your body will hold on to some of that extra weight for a while, and you may not be able to fit into your clothes straight away. But as soon as you've finished breastfeeding, and if you have no active plans in place to lose weight or gain weight or change your body whatsoever, that's the time to go into the closet and get rid of the things that no longer fit. So if you have clothes in your closet that are too small, get rid of them. And you didn't just have a baby, get rid of them. If you have clothes in your closet that are too big and not bought too big on purpose so that they have that oversized effect, get rid of them. They sit in the closet and they are taunting you. They become a bully in your closet, and nobody wants a closet bully. So don't taunt yourself, get rid of the clothes that are too big. Let's look at the next mistake. Mistake number 6, I touched on a little bit within number 5, but it's wearing clothes that don't flatter your body geometry. So what this is really all about, like I said, is creating a silhouette that enhances your natural assets. The human brain loves symmetry, and that's the same whether it's top and bottom or left and right. So if you're wearing something that is altering the overall symmetry of your silhouette from top to bottom, it throws up a red flag, and your brain goes, whoa, what's happening here? I don't like it. How do we fix this? We fix this by knowing what our body geometry is and how we can dress so that we are enhancing it and creating a balanced silhouette. Now, this isn't to say that having an hourglass figure is the perfect thing. There is no perfect silhouette. The brain just likes symmetry and finds that the most pleasing. Asymmetry can be interesting when done according to rules of body geometry, and the rules are in air quotes because I like to think of them more like the speed limit in Florida. It's a guideline. It's a suggestion that most people will probably follow, but there's going to be someone who's going way too fast. You can be the person who's going way too fast. Once you have a handle on how the rules work, and you know when there will or won't be a cop parked somewhere, you can go too fast. You can break the rules. So as things flatter your body geometry, you'll increase your confidence because you have that overall balanced silhouette. You're gonna feel really good about how you look in the mirror rather than that, I'm not sure I like this, and have no clue why. You aren't sure if you like it or if you don't like it. So let's move on to our next mistake. Number 7, using style boxes and relying on other people. Now you're watching this video, so you're kind of relying on me for advice. That's a little different. What I'm talking about here is relying on store displays or these stylist in a box services that aren't personalized. Store mannequins are there to inspire you, which means that they actually just want you to buy stuff. The store is completely engineered to get you to part with your money. I talked a little bit about this in the first video, and I mentioned a video that I had done previously on how mannequins are dressed and created to entice you to buy the entire outfit that mannequin is wearing. The reason this is a problem is Our brains like predictability and formulas. It's the reason why we look at recipes when we are making cookies. We want to know exactly what formula to follow to fix it. We like exercise programs because they give you the steps that you follow to reach whatever result you're after. Buying an entire look from a mannequin in a store is that same concept for your brain. It's a formula to follow. You know that all of these pieces go together and they look good together. And therefore, if you just buy all of them, the work is done for you. However, it robs you of your creative juices. It keeps your creative brain from kicking in and going, hey, I can also wear this with that pair of bottoms over there, and that pair of bottoms that I got in this outfit I can wear with this other top I have, or I can wear them with this other thing that I have, or I can also wear them together but add a third thing. It keeps your brain from thinking outside the box when you buy and wear the outfit exactly as you saw it in the store, because that locks those pieces into that formula of top A goes with bottom B and never shall the two part. And then every time you reach for that one piece, your brain begins to form a habit chain of, I wear piece A, I pull out bottom B. I pull out bottom B to wear, oh, this is worn with top A. And it will naturally want to wear those two things together because you are comforted by knowing that they work well together instead of creating your own outfit and being adventurous. So, avoid buying complete looks off mannequins because it robs you of your creativity. And that is a huge killer of how you can build outfits. And one of the number one complaints that my clients have is that they don't know how to put outfits together, or they feel like they don't know what goes together. And this is a major contributor. So with the style boxes, those have a purpose, and it's not to help you find your style. When you have your style already uncovered and you know you have a weakness, say, in one area, and you don't want to devote time to searching for more pieces in that category, say you need jackets. You're severely lacking on outerwear or layering pieces for jackets, you want some more of them. This is a great use for a style box. They can send you jackets each month and you can look them over, and all you have to do is open the box, look at the jackets, keep what you want, and get rid of the rest. You have to be careful though, because it can easily turn into collecting all these items that they've sent for you, they say are great for your style based on their quiz, which has turned out one singular result, but nobody is just one thing. We've talked about this a lot around here. So if you are thinking you have a single style or a main style with a subtype, you're missing out on all the other pieces because there are so many of them that really describe who you are in your unique mix. It's like building a pizza, right? The base is the same, it's the crust. And from that crust, you can put on all kinds of sauces, marinara, pesto, a white sauce, a cream sauce. You can change that sauce to be whatever you want, or you can do no sauce. And then you can put your toppings on it. You've got veggies, you've got meats, you've got pineapple. Yes, pineapple belongs on pizza, fight me. And from there, you can put cheese on it. And you can put all kinds of cheeses on it. Mozzarella, Gouda, provolone, feta. I've had feta on pizza and it's delicious. These are the ways that you create your unique style, just like making that pizza. You choose all of the individual components, and that's what your unique style is all the different parts of you, all your different style personalities coming together to create your signature style. So these style boxes operate on the principle that you have one style type, and that's so limiting. It's like saying you can only have pepperoni pizza for the rest of your life. Who only wants to eat one kind of pizza for the rest of their life? Not me. Not me. So, avoid using the style boxes to find your style. Use the style boxes to supplement your style. Mistake number 8 is deprioritizing your style because clothes are expensive. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a good bargain. I am a bargain shopper. With my education in fabrication and the years I have in retail, I fully understand how clothes are constructed. I understand where there is value to be had and why something can be priced expensively. I also understand most of the time things are just marked up because they know most people will pay that price. Or they're done psychologically and marked it up because they know that it feels good. We get a hit of dopamine when we find a deal and have something marked down. So some stores will also mark it up to mark it back down. Yes, I've seen this. And yes, I've seen this on major shopping holidays like Black Friday. Don't always trust a Black Friday sale, guys. That's all I'm saying. The important thing here is to understand the worth of a piece, to know how something is constructed, to know what well constructed means. What is the quality of the fabric? Where is it that you can justify or explain why something is priced higher than another piece that looks almost exactly the same? Those are the things that you need to know. And if you want me to do a video about this, leave me a comment, let me know. I would be happy to explain what goes into a quality piece. So those are the things that are important. There's also the psychological component of equating our personal value, what we think we're worth, with that price tag. And when something gets really expensive, we feel like we must deprive ourselves of spending that amount of money. It's not worth it. I don't need it. I have another store I can go to and get one that's cheaper. And that's not to say like, oh, we're only going thrift shopping because it's cheap. I enjoy thrift shopping. I love the hunt of a new piece, an interesting piece, something that's unique that you can't find anywhere else. Also, it's saving the environment, or helping to save the environment anyway. So this isn't to say that shopping cheaply is a bad thing. It's the motive behind it. Are you depriving yourself of an expensive piece because it feels like you don't deserve it? Or are you choosing not to spend your money on that piece because you don't believe it's worth it? Two different types of motivations there. And so I really want you to question whether you are keeping yourself from spending money on clothes because you feel that they're not worth it, or because you feel you're not worth it. So take a moment and consider that the next time you pick something up and think, this is too expensive. Is it too expensive, or do you feel unworthy? Speaking of feeling unworthy, let's talk about mistake number 9, not addressing traumas in our past. Now, a trauma is really just a life-altering event. It doesn't have to be something dramatic like a huge car wreck where we lost a limb. It can be as simple as your mom saying, honey, should you really be wearing that? It's a little snug on you, don't you think? Comments like that worm their way into our brains and live in the back of our heads rent-free, making us feel like every time we put something tight on, we need to take it off because it's a bad thing, because mom disapproved. We equate that remark with disapproval and rejection, and nobody wants to be rejected. So it's looking at these situations, these events, things that have happened in our past that really inform the way in which we are choosing to dress ourselves, whether that's consciously or subconsciously. And usually it's subconsciously. So what I like to do with my clients in this case is talk about things that have happened in the past. I share some stories from my personal past that informed my dressing decisions for a long time that I didn't realize were there until I took a long, hard look at what it was that I was thinking when I got dressed. And I do this by, when I'm getting dressed, taking these thoughts that I have and writing them down. You don't have to do anything with them right away. Just write them down. And then come back to them later, read the thought that you had, and reflect on your life. Do you remember this coming from a certain event? Or write down certain events and then look at the events that have happened, and are there any thoughts that you can see clearly connect to those events? Sometimes you have to write it down separately to see where the connection is. And I love talking this out with clients because there's always that moment of, aha, I see now why I avoided bright colors for so long, because bright colors gave me attention, and I was afraid to attract attention because when I got attention in grade school, I was picked on, and I don't want to get picked on, and that feels like crap to get belittled. And so I equated bright colors with belittling, and therefore I didn't wear them. Yes, that was an actual conversation I had with a client. So take a look at what your beliefs are, where you can see that those may or may not have come from, and is it something that you want to correct? Sometimes we acquire positive beliefs. You wear a color and people are like, hey, that color looks great on you. And immediately your brain is like, hey, store that away. We're gonna wear a lot more of this color. For me, that color is pink. I started wearing pink and suddenly people were like, hey, that pink looks really good on you. And I was like, okay, I'm wearing more pink. I also happen to love pink, so that worked out. It's those things that you want to keep. So just remember, it's not always bad that we have acquired that are informing our habits. Sometimes it's good. However, on that note, let me tell you a little story. When I was in middle school, I wore blue all the time. Like, all I wore was blue. Everything I had in my closet was blue. Blue jeans, blue tops, blue sweaters, blue t-shirts, all blue. Everything blue. Why? Because all the blue went together and I looked good in blue. I had heard it a lot that I looked good in blue. So what did I do? Everything I bought was a shade of blue. Navy blue, light blue, you name the blue, I had the blue in my closet. And all the blues went together. So I knew that, one, I didn't have to worry about matching anything because I didn't feel like I knew how. And two, I knew that blue looked good on me, so I didn't think twice about it. What was there to think about? The downside was that it really limited a lot of expression that I could have had by sticking to only wearing the color blue. And now, in my later years, I've broken out of this, but those moments, those beliefs that you pick up, they don't always just go away. And we have to put some conscious effort into it. So this is one mistake that everybody makes when they're trying to work on their style, is not addressing these beliefs and jumping right into the old closet and looking at the clothes, where the clothes may not be the problem. This may be the problem. So you can get over these by doing some journaling. Like I said, write them down, reflect on them, look at ways you can change it, and take those beliefs and turn them into affirmations. Use my favorite app, ThinkUp, where you can record yourself with these affirmations that you've created and listen to them as you sleep. So they really get to the subconscious. ThinkUp is one of my favorites, and it allows me to play my affirmations all night long while I'm sleeping, and I hear them in my subconscious and they become a part of me. And I have done this with a lot of things, not just self-confidence. You can do it with health beliefs. You can do it with anything you want a positive affirmation about. So you can record these affirmations, listen to them all night long, and you can also create your own affirmations. They have a bunch of suggestions in there, but in your case, you're gonna want to look at those experiences that you've had and create your own affirmations and listen to those on repeat. And yes, it totally works. So if you loved these tips, be sure to like and subscribe so that other women like you can find all of these mistakes that they're making and correct them. To join me in my private Facebook group, Thoughtful Style, where I go live almost every week and we talk about these issues one-on-one. You can get your questions answered live and be a part of a community of women just like yourself, looking to evolve their style into something more meaningful. So until next time, my darlings, mind your style. Bye.